Good evening. I'm driving home today, and it's just something that's been pressing on my heart since yesterday, and I gotta get it off my chest. It's nothing really big on nursing, but it just reminded me of something I wanted to do and part of my nursing career. That's definitely taken outside the hospital for many reasons, but I was reminded yesterday after I was going shopping. I was buying some things, preparing for this Christmas concert at my church, and I was greeted, it was my turn in line. I was greeted by this older lady, elderly lady. She was a cute little old lady. I don't know her age, but she like one of those little grandmas that like bake cookies in the kitchen and just have like all her grandkids on her lap, and maybe she's just working, just to keep time, having something to do like in her spare time. I kind of make up little things in my head, like when I kind of meet with somebody. But it's just sometimes you could just meet somebody and there's a warmth to them. And she just was so sweet, and she greeted with a smile, and she said, hello, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. How about you? And she said, oh, I'm okay, honey. And she's like, oh. And I said, what's wrong? She was like, I'm not supposed to say that word, honey. And I'm like, you can call me that. Like, it's not a problem. I get it. I said, I sometimes call people sir and ma'am. That's just how I was raised. I said, and a lot of people would get upset and say, well, I'm not old, but it's the Southern in me. And it's also, I said, if it make you feel better, I say sir and ma'am to like my youth, like 7, 8 years old. I say sir and ma'am to them too, because I teach them how to be treated with respect. So I said, so she began to share with me a time when she called someone honey. And she said, I just, try not to say it because one day, I used to say it all the time. And one day, I said honey to somebody, and she's like, I'm not your mama. And I'm like, oh wow, they said that to you? And I'm like imagining that happening to her. Like, I just wanted to get up and just, get all over the person that did that to her. I was immediately mad, for her. But I could tell in her heart, like, she just really felt defeated. And that thing hurt, y'all. It hurt. When I see my elderly, treated like that, and I probably mentioned this, and I'm probably going to say it a lot. Those are some of like my favorite patients, because they're just so full of wisdom. They're very sweet. They're very encouraging. They basically live this life we live, and they just have so much to offer. And a lot of spaces, especially in America, they're not as honored as they are in other places. Like, I know China, for example, it's like a big deal. Like, they honor their elderly there. At least that's what I saw from what I learned culturally about them. And I see it in other cultures too. But it just reminded me of this scripture. It says, to the pure in heart, all things are pure, and to the defiled and the unbelieving, nothing's pure. Meaning that if you're going around this anger, bitterness in your heart, anything that anybody say to you is going to be offensive. And I don't see how a little old lady like that can come off as offensive to you. This is something she's probably been saying for decades. And if she gets to the point where she's calling you honey, her pure heart is just saying it as a term of endearment. And just to bring it home, what it brought back in my heart, I just felt instantly I wanted to protect this lady. And I assured her, I said, it's not you. I said, if it slips out, it slips out. I said, most people don't mind. Most people don't mind because they understand that you're being genuine, you're being pure. That's just who you are. Like, don't change that. And she seemed to smile about it. And then she was like, well, okay, honey. And she was like, I say, nope, you can say it. It's fine. Say it. Say honey. And she said, well, that person doesn't work here anymore anyway. But when she said, I just thought about, like, you know, you can't be going around bitter like that. Like, you just made it so, you know, so uncomfortable for her and so uncomfortable for the working environment because of your bitterness. And just the fact of the way she just seemed traumatized by it, it brought me back to this idea I wanted to have. Like, just like, Melissa, since you love your elderly so much, like, I wanted to build this nursing home to where I just take my groups out on field trips. And I ain't talking about the, you know, bingo type stuff. I want to do stuff like taking them fishing, maybe a Friday night if they want to go to whatever buffet or Red Lobster, like, we go do that. Like, it's just a dream I always had, just to recognize them, some kind of sanctuary, like they just feel valued, because I see it too much and I just don't like it. And her sharing her story and how she just seemed traumatized by that thing just bothered me all the way from yesterday. And I was like, you know, I gotta be on the path to make that happen. You know, even if I just started up, and staffing is going to be definitely important to me. Who's going to have that same heart for these people that I do? For them to be treated the right way. And that's just what I got to say about it. I got it off my chest there. But yeah, just to the pure heart, like, everything gonna be pure. You're gonna know who's really trying to hurt you, and you're gonna know who really means well. And I just really hated that lady just was so traumatized for that. You know, hug your grandma today. Call your grandma today. If you're still living, hug your grandpa today. Call them and tell them how much you appreciate them today. I know this not fully nursing, but I'm gonna just speak it into past. Like, I want to be able to do that. But as far as, you know, me working, those are like some of my favorite patients. I gotta protect my babies when they under my care. But that's it. That's all I got to say about that. Good night.